before we get started, just make sure that you guys either sign in with this QR code or the link in the description. All you have to do is sign in with that link, and it lets us know it goes through our referral. So it just basically adds another person that's done it through a referral. It really helps the club and our school. So please do that. Thank you. Also, guys, just a reminder that the IBMZ online career fair is going to be coming up soon. We have the dates on screen, and if you're a Western student, it's going to be April 12th. And just know that you need to get your Xplore badge, just the concepts. So, keep doing that, and we hope to see you there. All right, we have finally made it to wrap up the last module in fundamentals and concepts. So, this one's a lot of fun. We get to do some Python on the mainframe. So let's get started. It's going to be a mix of like Unix system services stuff and then Python. So, and interacting directly with like the mainframe, we get to see what we've done uh, through the Zoe Explorer. So, let's get into it. All right. So, first and foremost, I want everybody to check if they still have their JCL3 out data set from the JCL modules. So, let's go into here and we're going to do the high level query of our data sets and then the public data sets. So, as that loads. All right, so if you guys have it, it will be right below the .jcl, but if you don't have it, it won't be there, and clearly I don't have it, so all we're going to do is create another one, so create new data set, and we'll do, um, make sure starts with your user ID, .jcl3 out, okay, and then we'll just do a sequential data set, so allocate it. No need to change any other settings. All right, now that we have it, our next step is going to be to get into the mainframe over through USS. So we're going to SSH into there right now. Um, this, and then the address is uh, right here, 204.90.115.200. So let's get in there, and then we're going to have to enter our password. All right, so now that we're in here, we're actually going to execute a command, and this command is going to allow us to uh, actually put something directly into our JCL3 out data set. So all we're going to put is this line goes at the bottom. Make sure that you guys do it exactly as you see it on the screen, and then we're going to specify where we want it to go. So in single brackets, we'll do 43147. This is my user ID dot JCL3 out. Oh, and don't forget to close your quotations. So all right, so this command is executed. This is a good example of what we're going to be doing on a smaller scale. It's like talking directly to our data sets through USS, and we can see it if we open up JCL3 out. And if you guys don't see it and you've run this command, just please do pull from mainframe, and you can see it says this line goes up bottom. It was initially empty because I just created it, so that's pretty cool. Um, all right, so yeah, it really is just an example of integrating shell into ZOS, and now we're actually gonna do a more practical example. So let's get into that. So make sure that you have a copy of dslist.python in your USS home directory. So we're gonna do our filter here, open it up. We can also ls and find dslist right here. All right, so let's just open dataset list, and we can see that we have we're importing up here this library. It's by IBM, and it allows Python scripts to interact with the mainframe, and we're importing the module datasets from it. You can see here we're using the list members function, which if you check the documentation, which you can find in Xplore on step 4 of wrap-up PDF, you can check all the other stuff that you can do with it and experiment with it on your own time. But yeah, you can see here it's also iterating through however many members there are, and it's printing out each member. So you can see that there's not an actual user ID, so we need to fill this in for the script to actually work. So let's fill it in with our user ID, and we'll go ahead and run it. So Python 3 dataset list, dslist.python. All right, so we have our 3 JCL datasets here. And if we check our JCL folder, we can see we have all three of those data sets here. And it was just this simple command, and all we had to do was print it out. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and open up our members.python file, which is in the same directory. And now we get to see how useful the Python scripts can be with manipulating the mainframe. So let's head right into members, and we can see we've got a bit of a longer script. So I just want to go over roughly what this does. And so on line 3, we're importing more than just the datasets module. We're importing jobs and Z system, and you guys can read up on these if you'd like. We'll be incorporating some of this in this example. And then line 6 to 18 here, you can see we asked them for the sequential dataset name. First, we're checking if it exists, and if it's found, then we can use it for the rest of our code. Otherwise, we ask them if they want to create a new dataset, and if they say yes, then we create it with the dataset name that we have assigned up here, and then type, we don't know that yet, we're going to do that, primary space and secondary space, we're already specifying. And if they say no, we're just going to say, well, we can't continue unless you give us a dataset. So, yeah. All right, so let's get on to what you guys have to do. Since this is the wrap-up module, I think it's only right. I will be taking this up, but if you guys pause the video here, I think you guys would benefit from trying to figure these 4 steps out on your own. It's a lot of fun. Just open up this documentation right here, and once you have that open, you'll be able to understand more about the how this Python library works. So pause it here, but I'm going to get into the solution now. So first step, we want to figure out how to create this as a sequential data set. Okay, so there's one small error that prevents this from happening. Um, well, if we look here, we can see that the type is question mark, question mark, question mark, right? That can't be right. So let's check how we can create it as a sequential data set. So let's go to modules, and then let's check what we're using. We're using data sets to create this, right? So we'll go to data sets as the module, and then what we're looking for is datasets.create. So let's just do a control F for that. And we can see all the arguments it takes. So name, okay, we have that. Type is what we're looking for. Options, okay, let's see. This is sequential, right? SEQ. So that's got to be the answer for that one. So let's do that. All right, what's the next step? On lines 24 to 27, figure out which is the correct line to uncomment to output the data to a linked list based on the Z system section of documentation. So they're talking about right here, we have these 4 lines, and we want to figure out what the correct one is to output a linked list of the data sets that we're querying for. So let's take a look here what it's using as the module. It's using Z system for all 4 of these. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So if we go back up to modules, we can see on the side we have Z system. And then what we're looking for here is something with linked list. So let's go ahead and type that in. This is usually how I like to do it if I'm looking for something. Okay, so we have a couple. We have list linked list and find linked list. So let's check here. Okay, there's no find linked list, so it has to be list linked list, right? All right, so if we see here, we actually have 2 list linked lists, right? But where we're outputting it is using the name linked list underscore output, right? So it's going to be this one because, obviously if we wanted to use this one, we would just change this to data, but we're not, or linked list data, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to use this one. So yeah, this just prints the value of linked list underscore output. All right, we're on our last step now, right? So once you once you're confident in the line you've uncommented, take a look at the datasets.write line, and based on the documentation for datasets, find the issue here. All right, so this is our last step, guys. So let's check here. We can see we have datasets.write, so we know which module we're going to be looking at in datasets. And we're looking for .write. So I'm going to type .write, Control F, and let's see how the parameters work. So okay, there's only 3 parameters, and then one other optional parameter. So we have dataset, the dataset we want to write the content to, the content, the string that we're actually writing, so the actual content that we want in the dataset, and append mode. So if we say true, it adds it to the end of the dataset. If we say false, it will overwrite the dataset. So let's check if our thing matches up with this. So I can see the issue here. The issue is that, as you can see, it's supposed to start with the dataset name, but it starts with linked list output. So let's go ds name and then there. And we can see that now we actually have content, which is the linked list output that we've uncommented, the dataset name, which is the thing that we specified here, up here, and then we actually made it by creating it sequentially. And now that we've done all of these steps, let's go back and see what the next step is. So it's actually okay, so we need to now run the script and see what we get, see if we get what we should be getting. So if we go into the Explore sides here, we can see use complete as a sequential data set name when prompted. So it's going to be our z user ID dot complete. All right, so let's run it. Python 3 members dot Python py, and let's enter the sequential data set name. So let's put our z user ID. Notice how it doesn't matter if I do lowercase z, because up here it replaces it converts everything to uppercase just because that's the naming convention on the mainframe. So let's go ahead and press enter, and this does not exist yet, right? So all right, there we go. So should we create it? Certainly we shall. So type Y, and now that we are creating it, you can see this is what is currently executing. So we're creating a data set with the data set name we gave it. You can see it was printed here. Sequential data set with the primary space and secondary space set. There are other settings that get filled by default, but if you guys want to see all those settings um, that you can use to create the data set, you can check the data sets documentation. Okay, so the code isn't done yet. Oh, there, it just finished. But so you can see it printed all this stuff out. What is this? Well, you can see down here, once we get the linked list of all of the data sets, um, zsystem.linklist, um, what we're doing is we're converting it to string, and we're every time that there's a comma, which is how they're separated initially, we're adding a new line just so it's easier to read, and we're printing it out. This print statement is what happened. And if you guys noticed for a second there, it had all this printed out, but it was still going. That's because it was doing the dataset start right? So we have dataset name, and it's writing all the linked list output, and we have append equals false, which means that it overwrites whatever's in there, right? If we already had something in there, um, it would just get rid of it and add new stuff. If we wanted to keep stuff in there and put this to the bottom, we would just do true. But let's keep it on false. All right, so now for the big reveal. Do we have complete? Let's go ahead and refresh our data sets. Oh, I see something changed. There we go, complete. Oh, and it's exactly what we wanted. So we wanted the linked list output in there. Perfect. Exactly what we expected. And now we get to do the best part of all these modules, submitting the JCL. So you're done fundamentals. That's incredible, but we need to actually make sure that you're actually done. Okay, so don't get too excited. Um, so let's go to public.jcl and do check auto. So we'll submit this job, and then we will check it here. And if you guys know, okay, there we go. We got return code 0. If you get anything other than return code 0, you did unfortunately mess up somewhere. This is what they're checking. They're checking for the complete. So make sure that you have the right script that creates the right complete. And you guys should know the drill at this point. But if you don't, we go um, take you to the wrap up challenge PDF. And you can see it opens the PDF. And then we're going to check our JCL submission. So it won't actually say that you've done it unless you get return code 0. But we did. So let's go ahead and submit it. And sometimes it takes a few seconds. All right, so you can see that we have unlocked we've completed the wrap up, and we have unlocked our fundamentals badge. All right, so you guys don't yet get the actual certification. Um, all you have to do is complete at least 2 of these concepts ones, which they're not actually coding. If we go in here, security and privacy is one of them. So it's basically just reading some stuff that they've written, and it's just stuff that's more about the concepts behind working on mainframes, what mainframe is, and outside of the technology realm. And you just answer these quizzes. So I'm not going to give you guys the answers for these because it only takes like all you have to do is 2, and each one takes like 10 minutes. So you guys are well on your way to being a mainframe legend. All you need now is go ahead and do the advance. We might be making videos on those too, not yet, but yeah, it's been fun. I'm glad that you have joined me for this journey. And once again, if you wanted to do it in person at the workshops, we're sorry, the client was down. But yeah, so that's it. We'll see you next time on WCS YouTube channel. We have some crazy stuff in the works. Stay tuned for the Toronto Tech Expo. But yeah, other than that, we're done. So good luck with the two concepts and have fun.